What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Motherfucker came in making candles flicker like the ghosts of Christmas past and shit.
Yeah.
This shit was scary as fuck.
So let's talk a little bit about where we're at thus far. It's not going to be a full season review, obviously, because the season isn't over yet. But let's just talk about where we're at now, what we think of it so far, and maybe where we're going. So Better Call Saul, in its final season, has Jimmy McGill, a.k.a. Saul, the great Bob Odenkirk. He and his wife Kim are basically formulating somewhat of a scheme to fuck with Howard Hamlin, which has been like one of the, I guess, like villains of the show. But I don't know about that.
You ever feel like you're being followed?
Well, you know what they say. The wicked flee when no man pursueth.
You think we're wicked?
And that sort of comes to a close here in this episode. And outside of that, yeah.
I would say it completely comes to a close.
It certainly does. And aside from that storyline, we have the other storyline playing out, which is, of course, that of Gus Fring, played by the great Giancarlo Esposito, who I just found out was Italian. And that shocked me. Yeah, I thought I thought for sure he was some sort of like Hispanic version of
100% thought that. Yeah.
But yeah, so we have Gus's storyline, and this series is very much about him like rooting his empire that we come to see later in Breaking Bad, already well established, his meth empire. But this is him sort of building up to that, building up to him preparing to get revenge on Don Eladio and Don Bolsa for the murder of his, I guess, boyfriend or friend or crush or something that we see in Breaking Bad. And so we get that. This show also showcases a lot of like Mike's story and how he comes to, form a relationship.
Be the right hand.
Yeah, be the right hand of Gus. Have the connection of Saul to then allow Saul to introduce Walter White and Jesse to Gus. So we're starting to see all these connections come together. Season so far, in my opinion, has been pretty great.
Really good, yeah. I mean, it's really amazing to see this in-depth story, backstory where Jimmy is the main focus, but all these side stories are just as interesting because of the context we have as an audience. I don't know if I've ever gotten to experience a spinoff that was written this well.
No, you haven't, because you haven't fucking watched Star Wars, Marvin.
The days of
Who's here to see Saul Goodman?
laugh and run away.
You're the guy, right? What guy's that?
Toward a closing door.
Salamanca's guy.
We're seeing how the world of Breaking Bad came to be. And, you got to hand it to the writers and Vince Gilligan specifically, because the way they've done, I mean, personally, I think one could argue that this show is actually better than Breaking Bad in some ways.
You could. But you can't have one without the other, right? So.
Well, no, you can't. Well, actually, you could. I think.
I mean, you could have Breaking Bad without Better Call Saul, obviously. But you couldn't have Better Call Saul without Breaking Bad. I guess.
I disagree. I think.
Well,
think you could.
you'd have to delve out some of the characters that we are, like Gus. Like I don't think Gus we'd have the same impact if you didn't know who he was and what he was from Breaking Bad.
Right. When you see him on the screen, it's like it wouldn't hit the same.
I actually
It doesn't
disagree.
hit the same.
I actually disagree. He definitely has like this reputation from Breaking Bad, so when you meet him, it does hit a little bit differently than if you were to just meet him for the first time. But I do think that this show is so good that it does completely stand on its own. I think that's why it's so good, because it's not relying on the fact that there's all these characters you've already met and storylines you've already sort of experienced before. But it is very much standing on its own as its own story, because it is its own story. It's not relying on Breaking Bad in any way. There's little things, bits of fan service saying, oh, look, here's Gus and here's Mike and this, that, and the other thing. Here's how he becomes Saul. But I think you could show this show to somebody who's never seen Breaking Bad, and it would be just as good for them. I think personally.
Are you building a case against Jimmy?
I'm just getting warmed up.
No one knows what we're doing. Except for us.
A epiphany that I recently had and shared with you guys is this whole fucking series is based on one single line from Breaking Bad. And it's the scene when Walt and Jesse take Saul out to the desert to threaten him. And Saul, at the time, I mean, when you're watching Breaking Bad for the first time, you don't really know what's going on. You're just like, oh, okay. But he says the words, it wasn't me, it was, what is Nacho's actual name? Something Varga, but they call him Nacho. I forget his real name. I can't think of it. But anyway, in Breaking Bad, Saul says to Walt and Jesse, he thinks they're from the cartel, and he goes, "Did the cartel send you? It wasn't me. It was Nacho. Did Lalo send you?"
Ignacio.
Yeah. He goes, "It wasn't me. It was Ignacio. Did Lalo send you?" And that's a head explosion moment because
it is.
This whole series now we see is based off of that one singular line.
Come on, just tell me what you want. Jesus. Oh, no. No, it wasn't me. It was Ignacio. He's the one. Oh, no. Siempre soy amigo. Siempre soy amigo del cartel. Shut up. I just speak English. Lalo didn't send you? No, Lalo? Who? Oh, thank God. Oh, Christ.
And it makes me wonder, Marvin, you brought this up to me the other day. You were like, do you think that they knew in advance, or they kind of just went back and been like, oh, this is a cool line. Let's develop actual Lalo and Ignacio and see where it goes. Right. Both are possible. But, you know, what I mentioned to you was writers will tend to like really flesh out some characters, even side characters, and give them backstories and stuff so they could better understand them for the writing process. So I think both of those are pretty likely scenarios.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And they probably are judging it based on maybe like how the audience feels about certain characters to determine maybe what they're going to do for the next series. Maybe, I don't know.
But Lalo, I think, is such a good villain. He rivals even like Gus and Tuco from Breaking Bad.
He definitely does. Motherfucker came in making candles flicker like the ghosts of Christmas past and shit.
Yeah.
This shit was scary as fuck.
Don Eladio, adivine quién. Soy yo, Lalo, y estoy vivo. Y me encuentro aquí en el hermoso centro de Albuquerque. Llevo aquí ya 4 noches.
You know why he's scary? Because he's fucking smart and he's calculated, but he also has that like Tuco craziness where he could fucking snap on a dime. Tuco was just fucking crazy and meth out of his mind.
Yes.
Right. But he wasn't fucking bright.
Right. He was just savage and
And Gus is scary on a different level. Gus could snap, but he never really snaps. He just maintains his composure. Even when he
when he snaps, it's like it didn't snap.
Right.
This was all intentional.
So
there's like no emotion behind it. It's literally, even that was business. Like you said, him cutting the throat.
But Lalo is so fucking scary to me that I even said to Dusty when we were watching Hawkeye, because the guy who plays Lalo, what's the actor?
Tony Dalton. He
is in Hawkeye as well. Does not play a fucking murderous psychopath. And I was like, dude, I'm still scared of this guy.
Right.
Because of his portrayal of Lalo.
That smile gets me.
There was a plot devised by Gus to take out Lalo, who Lalo is in town basically filling in for Don Hector, who is now wheelchair bound thanks to Nacho poisoning him. Well, not poisoning him, but like overdosing him.
Yeah.
Lalo's in town for that, and there's a plan to have him taken out that Nacho is a part of. Nacho facilitates it. So this season, the first couple episodes, Nacho's sort of on the run. Lalo pretty much knows it was him and knows Gus is behind it, but is looking for proof that he could bring to the cartel because Gus is a big player in the cartel affairs, so you can't just fucking take him out without explanation.
He's an earner. It's referred to so many times.
He's made man.
Yeah, he's made man, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So this season is very much about Lalo basically trying to put the pieces together while a lot of parties think he's dead. And here in this last episode, we all find out, Jimmy included, that even though we knew already, that he is not in fact dead. And boy, does he show up with a bang. Literally. But before we get to that, before he actually shows up in this episode, he's sort of going around trying to figure out what Gus is doing at the laundromat. Now, we as an audience know that the laundromat becomes his giga meth lab, the Elon Musk of meth. The gigafactory of meth labs, where Walt will eventually work with Jesse and so on and so forth. He's building that in this series.
¿Eso? Ahí está. El secreto de Fring. Llevo tiempo vigilando y Fring esconde a sus guardias muy bien. Pero ahí están, vestidos de empleados de la lavandería. ¿Ve? Ahí está uno. Esconden sus armas debajo del uniforme. Pero yo las veo. Tengo una muy buena idea de lo que voy a enfrentar.
But he makes a grand re-entrance here in this final episode. Well, this mid-season finale episode. And we have the plot against Howard fully fleshed out. We realized that Jimmy and Kim, I had said during the episode that, because I think, Marvin, you might have said, like, why are they even doing this to this guy? And I was like, well, I think they're trying to settle the Sandpiper case early so Jimmy just gets his money. And Howard even said that when he was explaining it to his partner there. But we come to find out that they're really kind of just doing it for fun because they like doing it.
Yeah.
And
which makes sense.
Yeah. It does make sense.
I remember early on when they were doing these type of shenanigans, and they ripped, they got the guy drunk and like ripped him off of money.
Yeah.
Kim was just enjoying it. You could see that she was just loving it.
Well, thus is the life of a grifter, and they did show in last episode that she grew up as sort of the daughter of a grifter and learned how to scam people from her mother. And though she's living the life of a lawyer, she's definitely like, she likes that. It's fun. I mean, it's a rush, obviously, to do stuff that you shouldn't be doing. Like, we all know that, right?
Yeah.
But what they do to this poor guy, boy, oh my God, they are going to just the most elaborate schemes. They're getting all his colleagues to think he's a cokehead and a psychopath.
So tell me, why? Why go through this elaborate plot just to burn me to the ground?
Burn you to the ground? Howard, come on. You'll be fine. You always land on your feet.
Yeah, sure. The Sandpiper settlement, HHM share will be substantial, absolutely. Even though I humiliated myself. And my clients and peers will whisper that Howard Hamlin's a drug addict. You're right.
Throughout the course of this series, Howard is kind of like, he's kind of a dick to Jimmy for no reason. He kisses Jimmy's brother's ass. But now I just feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve any of
this.
No.
This is too much.
Well, and we don't know entirely like what transpired between Jimmy and Howard because like I was saying, he calls him Lord Vader, I think, in episode 1 of this entire series. So we know they have bad blood. Maybe it's because his brother Chuck respects him more than he respects Jimmy. I don't know, but they've had bad blood since the very first episode. So and it really wasn't flushed out. We just know that there's hijinks that Jimmy will go to no end to not pull a prank on Howard. And
well, there were definitely moments early in the series where Howard was definitely dangling the hopes of Jimmy becoming a partner at the firm that his brother started or helped found, rather. So that was like a big like plot thread for a couple of seasons, really, where like Jimmy was sort of just chasing a carrot in a sense, trying to like earn Howard's approval and even his brother's approval up until a certain point that he was just never going to get. So there were points where like Howard was kind of like stringing him along and like being kind of a dick. Yeah. So I get it. But like this is just a lot. And I felt really bad for him because he's explaining like, yeah, you know what? I'll get through this. I'm fucking been living in my guest house. I got problems with my wife. I've had fucking depression problems and this, that, and other thing. And you're like, God damn, Jimmy and Kim, you guys.
I've worked my way through worse. Debt, depression, my marriage falling apart. Oh, yeah. Been sleeping in the guest house for the better part of a year. Just one more thing good old Howard has to work through. But yes, I will land on my feet.
Then fucking Lalo walks in and it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt something? As he's fucking tightening his fucking suppressor and just shoots him in the fucking head. And you're just like, oh my God, this man didn't deserve any of this, really. I felt really bad, actually. So maybe this is...
I don't know if Jimmy was more upset that Howard died or that he wasted all that time fucking him over.
No, I actually, that's funny, but I do think he was very remorseful. Like, oh my God, I didn't intend for this to happen.
He definitely was.
So far for me, Better Call Saul, fucking excellent show.
Yeah.
This final season's no different. It's been really, really good so far. Quite a roller coaster, but I'm interested to see now where it goes because as the world's greatest detective, Marvin over here pointed out during the episode that this particular season of the show, perhaps the whole series, I don't know, but this show is taking place at least at this point in 2004, and we know that Breaking Bad takes place between 2008 and 2011, I think. So right now we're at like a 4-year gap from where we're at to where he ultimately meets Walt and Jesse. So I'm wondering if when this series comes back in July, if we're going to get a time jump.
We could.
Or in one of the episodes.
We're going to have to because they've been teasing like he's either in WitPro or he's in hiding because he's working at the cinnamon factory and we still...
Well, no, he's not in witness protection. He's for sure in hiding because the vacuum cleaner guy gave him this identity.
Oh,
and
right.
Yeah.
And it's actually a callback to one of the episodes in Breaking Bad where he said, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be... I think Walter Jesse asks him, like, what would you be doing if you weren't, like, doing this? And he says, oh, I don't know. I'd probably be working at a Cinnabon somewhere.
Hey, I'm a civilian. I'm not your lawyer anymore. I'm nobody's lawyer. The fun's over. From here on out, I'm Mr. Low Profile. Just another douchebag with a job and 3 pairs of Dockers. If I'm lucky, a month from now, best case scenario, I'm managing a Cinnabon in Omaha.
You're still part of this, whether you like it or not.
I'm sorry, I don't think so.
Oh, wow. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so that's the life that he's living in present day, which the only little glimpse of present day we've seen post Breaking Bad in this season of Better Call Saul is the feds.
The government raiding the house.
Raiding his house and like taking all his shit.
Oh, that's right. In the intro, right? One of the intro scenes.
So there's going to come a point in the end of this season where we arrive at him ultimately meeting Walt and Jesse, and then I think the show will probably wrap up in present day, post Breaking Bad, him working at the Cinnabon and like where he's gonna end up from there. But great series to follow up a great series, and it's gonna be odd living life without being in the Breaking Bad universe. That's for sure.
For real. Oh man.
Whatever happens next, it's not gonna go down the way you think it is.
What's up, people? Dan here. Just to remind you that if you enjoyed the video, to please go ahead and hit the like button. It really helps us out, and it lets us know that we're doing an okay job. If you want to be notified for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, and if you're feeling extra spicy, hit that little bell button down below. Give it a little tickle.